We're good.
Okay. Okay. Welcome everybody to the December meeting of the Irvington Architecture Review Board. As is usually the case, we will start with revisions, go to continuations, although there are none tonight, and then get on to new matters. We will go in ascending order of application number. So we will start with ARB 20-43, 15 Dearman Close, new house.
You said 15 Dearman, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, I'm on now.
Okay, who did we lose? Oh, I think we got everybody. Okay. Why don't, Mr. Besherat, why don't you let us know who you are and we can start.
I'm the designer representing Mr. Racanelli, who I'm saying that he's online, but I don't see him. I had him on the phone before.
He was I saw him online, but he dropped off.
Maybe he'll sign back on. But anyways, this project, we were in front of you a while back, I think maybe like a couple of months ago. We had to go back to the planning board and also to the zoning board to resolve a few issues regarding the height compliance, not the height. The height of the building actually was in compliance, except because the property is fronts on 3 roads. It's like a peninsula. It's basically a little bit unique than any other lots. Some of the yards were more than 3 feet above. The basement, I'm sorry, was more than 3 feet above finished grade. So therefore, it counted as a story. So therefore, we had to go for variance and go back to the planning board. We resolved all the issues with the landscaping, with the coverage. We showed them that the compliance remained the same. One of the reasons why we had to go for the changes was when we started the construction, the amount of excavation requires a substantial amount of blasting, and that would have taken too long and created a hardship on everybody, including the neighbors. In not so many words, we resolved all that, and we're back to you right now. There was some comments from your board regarding the finished material, questions about it, and we have clarified everything, and we gave a schedule of all the finished material, the exterior, the railings, the columns, the windows, the garage doors, etc., and it's in front of you. I'm actually trying to get on it on my computer right now as we speak. This way I can answer any questions for you regarding this. By the way, this property does have a building permit on it, and we were there for modification of a building permit.
Okay. I don't know where we left off the last time. I know there was a change in materials. The facade of the building was changing from one material to another.
Correct.
Can you bring us up to date on where we are with that?
Well, the change is going to a stucco finish house as for the request of the buyer of the property. It used to be, I think originally we were doing it with the cedar siding, if my memory serves me correct on that, and then we switched it to the stucco finish. We changed the roof, the heights, so modifications to the look, but minor modification with the exception of the finished material on the exterior.
I believe the deck was completely changed.
Oh yes, that other thing, I apologize about that. Yes, the original house was proposed with a patio, okay, but because of the change of the elevation and the grade changes, we have converted it into a we replaced it with a deck that's going to be finished with Trex flooring and the fiberglass Trex railing too. So the manufacturer composite railings. If you just give me a second, I'm trying to find it. Working with the 3 computers at the same time is not the easiest thing, especially got an old person like me. Oh, there we go. All right, so like I said, the major difference is the change of the exterior finish on the house, and the addition of a deck versus a patio. Okay, there we go. If there's any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them. We kind of will try to be as specific as possible in our submission to for your board to be as clarified with the material, the finishes, etc., etc.
And was there anything specific that you wanted to see going in?
Nope.
Okay. Did anybody, was anybody interested in having Mr. Besharat run through the changes in his drawings for us? I mean, I think a lot of us are familiar with the application.
I'm a little unclear about the deck. You said it has a Trex floor, and is it a Trex siding?
No, the Trex is actually it is not the floor of the deck is more of a timber deck. It is a composite material. The same thing with the railing is also is going to be done with a timber deck, which is a very high end railing on it.
Are your drawings open and you can show us what we're talking about here?
If you can have it, I don't know how to access it on the computer where you can see it. I mean, I think Sarah is the one that.
Sarah, could you bring that up, please?
I don't have control of it, but I can go over it in the package that we submitted. We submitted material cuts of everything, including the light. There's the I have in front of me the material, the deck railing, the columns, the garage doors, etc., which is indicated on the plan. But we also submitted in separate in the package. I think it was submitted to you. All material cuts from the railing to the lights to the garage doors.
Right. The first half of the cuts of this submission are all the material cuts. I don't know. Does anybody have any questions? Do they want to go through these elevations, or is everybody?
I know there was a letter from the neighbor, and she was concerned about the stucco. But when I went up there, I noticed there was a house on the next block that was also a similar type of a stucco finish. It's not the only one.
Mm-hmm.
So.
The only question I had, I just wanted to, because I was looking at the schedule, is so the roof is charcoal, the windows are black, the front door is black, the garage doors are black, but the deck railing is white. And I just was curious why. And if, I mean, maybe it's just your buyer's preference, but it just that white.
It is the buyer's preference. It is the buyer preference, and actually doing the railing in the black. I mean, as is. I don't think. If my memory says, I don't think it even comes in a black. The railing. I think it comes in a brown, dark brown family. I don't remember. I could be mistaken, but I don't remember seeing it in black. But the buyer's preference, it was, you know, all these colors, what have you, came from the buyers themselves. So we really have to adhere. I mean, you know, and then having a deal like this, you know, you don't pass on it, you have to really accommodate.
I mean, just the first page of the submission, the Timber Tech endless design options, the black is above the white. That was the only thing that struck me. I don't understand why you're.
No, the railing was based, the colors, like I said, all the color scheme was the choice of the buyer.
What color, just remind me, what color is the stucco again?
The stucco is really a soft white or soft sand color. We did submit a sample of it in there. I think there's an actual sample of it.
Sarah, could you go up to the,
I'm not uncomfortable with the white then as that railing.
Yeah, nomadic desert, it's called. It's the second.
Yes,
image there.
exactly, which is a very light sand color.
that's it right there.
Right there, okay.
The stucco. You know, the sample, the small sample over here does not do it justice. In reality is more of a sand tone color. It's a very light beige color.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, and you know, the railings, they wanted it in white, and they wanted the columns also to be in white. They did not want anything in black like that.
Okay.
All right.
Scroll down a little bit, Sarah. Okay, that's the shingle.
Yes, that's the actual shingle. That's a small sample of the actual asphalt shingle.
Okay. Any questions, anybody?
I thought the only other thing we had inquired about last time was the finish at the front door. I think that had changed
It was
also.
changed, you're correct.
Sorry?
It was changed, yeah, there were a lot of changes.
Yeah, just curious. So what's happening at the front?
The
Limestone veneer around the door?
Yes.
What's that all about?
It's gonna be the same color as the stucco material, but to make it kind of stand out, is just the finish. Is basically it has the brick pattern panels, and it's made out of limestone, and it will be applied to the safe. It does not stick out. I think the original one we had stone finish on it along with the stone foundation, and they wanted to have something different underneath the overhang, just different texture basically, but it's going to be the same, basically the same color as the nomadic desert.
Wasn't that part of the last submission? I remember.
Yes, that was also on the last submission,
I
correct?
thought so.
Yeah.
Sarah, could you scroll down a little bit? Okay,
Just let me know when you want me to stop.
that's okay. Stop right there. That's the style of the front door.
Yes, and that's the actual door that we are going to be using.
Okay.
Okay.
Keep going a little bit further, Sarah. All right, stop there. What are we looking at here as far as the thermature? That's the side lights on the doors?
No, we the thermatrue, the glass selection, which will be just a plain glass, which is the one where it says next to Jilco. That will be the actual finish of the glass. It's just a plain glass, but it's going to be more like a privacy glass, not a see-through glass.
Okay. Okay, scroll down a little, Sarah. Okay, so those are your columns,
That's the actual column, yes.
and they will be in white?
Yes, yeah, there will be.
Okay. Okay, anybody have any additional questions?
No.
Okay, could you scroll down, Sarah? Get back to the drawing.
The drawing?
Yes, please. Okay. Okay, I just wanted to see the front of the house to make sure that the, yeah, I do recall that the limestone around the door in the
Yes,
last.
it was always there at the first submission when we came to you.
Yep. Yep. Okay, Anybody, any additional questions, Ken? You good to go? Okay. Do I have a motion to approve the application?
So move.
Second? I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. We're good to go. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, everybody. Have a very happy new year and enjoy the rest of the week, as short as it is. And that'll be the last one, I guess, in this year.
Yep.
Bye 2020. Welcome 2021. And best of luck to everyone.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you for your time. Bye-bye.
Okay. We can take that down, Sarah.
Sorry.
That's all right. All right, we can now move on to ARB 20-64, 99 Bracebridge Lane. These are becoming like old friends. We've been here so often. I think this was a Ferguson Malone project. Oh, there's John.
Hello, guys.
Oh, how are you?
Cowboy look.
There's Desperado over here.
Yeah, that's wrong. Inside, don't need that anymore. So we're here for a value engineering tune-up change for this house. The goal, that when we were last in front of you, we had an addition with new windows. We had an existing house with old windows, and that was sort of a budget, an approach to try to manage the budget was, and there's a few things that have happened, and the owner was really trying to upgrade the windows in the existing house as well, and trying to get a cohesive look. The old house and the new house, even though it's an addition, are really meant to look the same. So what's in front of you is a strategy where we use the same window type throughout. The other change that we're making, again, is a value engineering change to try to save money, is to eliminate the metal roof. And it's the same change that we were in front of you for the barn, and go to the same roof. So in terms of the changes to the windows, we're going, oh, let me,
Yeah, why don't you let us see your,
sorry. So this drawing here, oops. So this is what was in front of you last time, and this is the change. Get it in the same format so we can move between it. These windows with the thicker mullion situation, like here and here on this side of the house, these were the original windows. Also in the brick section over here, and the windows facing the side and the upper windows here. So that's one of the things we're trying to do. So you'll see in the revised one, in those areas, those windows have been switched out to be the same window type as the other windows. There's been a change to a sliding door in the dining room, where there was a double window. These little windows here that were a laundry room and a bathroom window, we've adjusted the size of them to make them a square. That was just an aesthetic change that we missed. And then on the tower, we've reduced the amount of windows and simplified it. So we had divided it into 3 parts, and we think we have a better solution here where it's simple and the operable portions are fewer. So there's going to be more glass, less screens.
so this is on the house, not the barn, right?
This is the house, right? So this is all changes to the house. And then you'll see on the existing portion of the house, all the windows will match. They're all going to be a bronze finish, a modern window. It's an Ultrex thing. It's similar to what we had proposed before, except it has both a fiberglass inside and a fiberglass outside instead of a wood inside. So I don't think it has any change in terms of the look of it. It's a little bit more of a modern window. Let me just pull up. This is it being used in sort of a modern application. It has it has a little bit of a less traditional, it doesn't have OGs and stuff like that. It's a very square window inside and out. So we think it's probably more appropriate than what we were shown before.
What's the color, John?
It's a bronze color.
They're currently white, right? The frames are painted white.
Yeah, well, the right now I think the color scheme. I don't know if we have a color scheme shown for the house, but the goal was to do something relatively monochromatic on the house, and then have the windows just be really modern and receding, so that the frames won't be expressed. Everything will be receding.
So what's the color of the verticals?
The board and batten, I think we were going to do a gray, is what I was remembering.
Okay.
I'm just trying to see if it's here.
And the trim is also a gray or a different color?
Yeah, the trim, it'll all, the goal would be to have the whole thing monochromatic, both the trim and the siding, and then the windows would be the bronze color, kind of darker. The actual frames will be darker and receding like the glass. I don't think we called out a color. The color for the roofing is indicated here. The color for the roofing is indicated as the slate, which is to match the roofing on the barn. It's the same roof, which we thought would just simplify the site.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think
Okay,
that's
but
it.
no other architectural changes, just the,
It's just, there's no change in the shape of anything. If there's those window size changes that I pointed out, these two, and then the divisions on this side. So instead of dividing into three, we have one big picture and then the operable panel next to it.
Is there any sliding doors right now in the house?
There are sliders in the back existing, and those are being replaced in this area where the kitchen is. There's sort of a slider in this zone.
Yeah, I mean, I get it that they want a slider to go right out from the garden. It just actually is the one thing that sort of doesn't look like the house in a way. But,
I think the fact that the slider's profile is going to match the other windows, like it'll probably, I think it'll read all right.
Can you go back to the original?
Yeah. It's almost to the ground the way it is right now.
Yep.
But yeah. I think that's it. This door here, which looks like nothing, is remaining a flush wood door to be painted. So side light, transom, flush wood door.
okay. No other changes, John?
No, that's it.
Okay. Anybody else? Any other questions?
I do want to say, I do think something's lost when you lose the hopper, but I understand it.
Yeah, I think it was a functional,
Yep.
decision in that dining room to try to direct access.
Okay. That's it, Ken?
That's it. That's all I have to say.
Okay. I will make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, guys. Thank you.
Good luck.
All right.
Sarah, you're going to kick me off somehow? I never know how to kick myself off of here.
Sure, just hold on one
Yeah,
second.
you're going to kick me off. All right. See you guys in a bit.
All right. All right, we're now dealing in ARB. We're going to new matters. ARB 20-65, 45 West Clinton Avenue. Vince?
Just a reminder to all, everyone here that's representing an application, if it's your turn, if you can please click the raise hand button and I'll promote you to a panelist. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Lombardi, are we gonna have you by voice only, or are we gonna actually see you?
You're muted, Mr. Lombardi.
Yep.
Oh,
You there now?
I'm here,
Okay.
but I'm happy to also show you me, but for some reason that's not doing it. There, that should do it now. There we go. Okay. And then I'd also, okay, share the screen. That's terrific. All right, so actually I'd like to present it by sharing the screen with you, if I could, please. And there we go. And I'm assuming you can see that, the plot plan. Excellent. So this is an application to install, let me get my mouse, to install a fence, a 6-foot-high fence on the north boundary, which is West Clinton Avenue. The fence would be 10 feet 6 inches back from West Clinton Avenue itself, along our east boundary, which concurrent with the aqueduct, and the south boundary, in those cases, the orange portion. It's not an application for the west boundary because there's a fence there already that belongs to our neighbor to the west. This is a view of West Clinton Avenue looking west with the Octagon House on the left, on the south side. And I put that up on the screen to show that there is a fence on the north side, which is exactly 10 feet 6 inches back approximately from West Clinton Avenue. We studied and analyzed what the fence should be for the Octagon House for 42 years to try to figure this out. There's no remnant of a fence and there's no photograph of a fence, but there's every reason to believe there was a fence based upon the house across the street and really the contour of the land, the way it was. There's a dip, but it may have been a wooden fence. There's just nothing left of whatever was there in 1871. So the decision was to go with a hoop, an arrow type fence, which is a traditional 19th century fence, not monumental, particularly because the Octagon House is a summer home, or was built as a summer home, and it wasn't meant to really be a monumental presentation. So we went and selected a fence that would be what we felt would be more appropriate for the Octagon House, in the sense that it wasn't like a massive, heavy Victorian type of fence. This is an image that shows the property immediately to our west, which has presently a 6-foot fence. And we've mocked up what the proposed 6-foot fence would be. The Octagon House property is on the left, and 61 West Clinton Avenue is the property immediately to our west. This is a view of a mock-up at the entrance to the house. And right here is where the fence would be. That obviously would continue. It's just one segment of it, but it's back in here that we believe that fence originally was, and the way the land slopes down a bit and then flattens out. This is a mock-up at the most easterly corner. There is, in fact, a remnant of a 20th century type fence that was at this corner. We can't imagine that it was along West Clinton Avenue. I think this fence was solely on the eastern boundary along the aqueduct side. And so the mock-up shows that 6-foot fence in here, and that would come right to this point.
And then go back.
And then go back, right. And then make the corner and go in that direction, exactly. The top of the fence will have a finial rather than an arrow or a fleur-de-lis based upon the finial that's on the original 19th century gas lamps and is on the restored gas lamps as they presently are. And that's also reflected in the finial that's on top of the well house. We also have a letter from the National Trust, or actually it was an email accompanied by our documentation, in which the National Trust, after a presentation to them, agreed that the fence was the appropriate fence to use. I'm available for any questions, please.
Do you have anything that shows the color mock-up? Because I know, most fences we look at are a single color, whereas I think on the fence that's going to border Broadway, West Clinton, is going to be two different colors, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct. It will be a maroon color, which is the color of the columns of the house. It's a deep red. And then the finials will be a light gray, which is, again, a color of the house. Let me get to this here. Let's see, am I in the right spot? No, not in the right spot, sorry. There. And we go this direction. Yeah, so the color of the fence will be that house red, which is really a darker maroon. And then the finial will be a light gray to just give it a little bit more of an accent. And that's that dark red.
Mr. Lombardi, I was wondering if you could comment on how you determined the height of the fence. Was 6 feet selected because the neighbor to the west of you had a 6-foot fence? And one of the reasons I ask is I'm looking at the height of the fence across the street, and I know that you would have taken the historical perspective of what was appropriate for the house. I just was wondering what went into the thinking as to how you arrived at 6 feet.
Right. So we were heavily influenced by the fact that the house immediately to the west has a 6-foot fence. And so that there would be that continuity of the house line. Mike, are you there? Maybe you have a comment, because I think you did a survey of the fences along West Clinton Avenue. I think if you raise your hand, you can comment.
Sarah, you see anybody raising their hand?
No.
Well, maybe Mike's not there. In any case, what we did is we did survey.
Actually, he is here. He is here. He's raising his hand.
Okay, good.
Promote him to a panelist.
Mike?
And he's there, but he's muted.
Okay, I'm here. Sorry about that.
Not a problem. Terrific. So Mike, the question is, we do know that the house immediately to our west has a 6-foot fence, but I think you looked at other fences along West Clinton Avenue, and perhaps you could share with us the height of the other fences on West Clinton Avenue.
Directly across the street, the fence is a little bit shorter. It's a 5-foot fence. Which you can see there is the cast iron fence with the adjacent to the driveway across the street on the northern side of West Clinton. The other fence that's on the edge of the property to the west of 45 West Clinton, which is that fourth side of the property, is 6 feet, not just on the West Clinton side, but going all the way through to the south.
Common side.
Correct. So it seemed to be the most consistent thing to maintain that 6-foot height.
And is the fence being erected primarily for privacy, security, both, or anything else? I just want to make a notation for today's work.
Sure, let me comment on that, please. Right, we've had really a difficulty all of these many years, which is that the house attracts people and people then come onto the grounds. And we've always tried to be polite and pleasant, but it is an opportunity for people to go onto the porch or even the security of the matter. And we would have applied and done a fence a long time ago if we had a photograph of what was originally there. What held us up all of these many decades was deciding on the exact right fence which would be appropriate. And after many years of struggling with it, we've decided to go with this fence. If tomorrow or the day after we install this fence, somebody comes forward with a photograph of what was originally there, we would change it. Maybe we have it right.
Understood. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I
Okay.
know there are other fences on that side that are the same height as well, Joe. But I also think the height of the building calls for the taller fence. And I think it's the Flock House across the street that has the lower fence, and the house style is so different and so much shorter. So yeah, it's
totally agree.
beautiful. As always, it's wonderful. And I'm glad for you, because I know that it is a problem with people just kind of wandering on like it's, a public park. So
Right.
yeah.
I have a question. Are you taking down any trees to put the fence up?
No.
No.
So it'll be behind the stand of trees that we're seeing.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, the street maples that run, they're about 9 feet back. There's a row of maple trees that run about 8 to 9 feet back from the curb.
So the fence is behind that.
And they're directly behind that, correct?
I would say that I can sense a great deal of care that's gone into the selection of the fence. And I know for me, it's disappointing to hear we have to put fences up because people can't respect your property. We're all drawn to the Octagon. It's part of our lives in Irvington, and it's wonderful, all that's been done. My only question, and I think I can see it in the picture, so my point may not be a value, is I would have hoped for a shorter fence. It's the sort of the enjoyment of the Octagon house. I sort of wonder, putting up a fence as frankly transparent as this fence will be, if it would be shorter, it would be better. But I saw a picture, I'm not sure it's this one, but another one where you're basically, because the house is on a rise, you get the full view of the house as you're walking down Clinton.
Right, the street view.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
I can say I've walked the street many, many, many times, always respecting the property but looking through, especially wintertime, and just enjoying it.
I think
So
the picture tells exactly what you're talking about, where the house is quite a bit raised up.
Yeah, I think what it is that the fence will really be substantially obscured at the lower level by the bushes, but will not change the visibility of the Octagon house in any way. And I think maybe this photo shows that in its best way.
Did you have a drawing or a schedule of where you're going to put gates? Obviously the driveway, but were there going to be any other gates or just the driveway gate?
Yeah. Yes, there would be one further gate towards the west end of the property, which is sort of like a back entrance for us, even though it's not a driveway.
That would be a fence going to the,
I think
going to
actually,
what?
let me get to that photo, which would be this one, right?
Right.
Just to the east of this, there would be another gate, but more diminutive. Even though the main gate is not going to be so grand, but that will be the
service gate.
And then there'll be a service gate that'll be a little bit more diminutive. It won't go 6 feet 6 inches. It'll be 6 feet high.
Mhm.
And
Okay.
then just for maintenance purposes, we envisioned one more fence on the south end.
One more gate.
Southwest, gate, I'm sorry. One more gate, but not a double gate, just simply a single gate, a 3-foot gate.
Could you go to the plan view and show
Sure.
us where you, yeah, just there you go.
So we envisioned a 3-foot gate in this location that I'm circling with my
Okay.
arrow. And then the other double gate would be right here approximately.
Okay, so what are you doing at the driveway?
And the one that I showed
The
you.
picture.
a moment
The
ago,
double, okay.
double one here.
So the double gate will have the scallop top, but whereas the other two will be just a straight top?
Yes, exactly.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna have,
Well, wait, I'm not, just want to make sure I'm answering that properly. They all have as a design.
yep, go
Okay,
ahead.
they just won't have the hierarchy of
Exaggerating.
going up higher. It'll just be straight across.
Just the driveway fence is gonna look like that.
The secondary fence on West Clinton Avenue, on the secondary gate on West Clinton Avenue on the west side, will be 6 feet high, straight across.
That,
The entrance gate, the main entrance to the driveway, will have this characteristic where it rises up to 6'6".
Can you go back to the plan for a second and zoom in on the east side? And right where it hits, where the, I'll call it the barn. This carriage house. So is the fence sitting up against the carriage house?
No, what it is our property,
Heat pump.
our property line is 2 feet back from the rear of the carriage house.
Do you have a heat pump back there behind the carriage house?
There,
You might.
a condenser, correct. There's a
Yeah.
condenser that's about
I
18
think you're
inches.
gonna cut yourself off. I'm only saying it because you see it when you're walking there. And the fence will be, I guess the fence is on the property line. It's just a point. I don't think it's my issue. It's just that's what's there, and getting access to that might
yeah,
be.
it's my interpretation that this application is going to have to go to ZBA because this is on the aqueduct, and they're going to have to get the ZBA to approve them to put the fence on the aqueduct side.
Buffer.
Is that your understanding, Mr. Lombardi?
I think so, yes.
Yeah, okay. Just, I wanted everybody to know that we get an opportunity to speak to the fence itself. It's just that on this eastern exposure of the fence, it will be, there'll be somebody else looking over it as far as the Old Croton Aqueduct property.
Right, we received a variance to reconstruct the carriage house.
Right.
And the shed.
And the greenhouse.
And
The greenhouse, which is not on here.
Right, because it's in the, the
Buffer zone.
right. Yep. So we can speak to the fence and its location, but the location may change. But
But it
that's,
doesn't have to come back to us, does it, Rick?
no, that's my point.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, doesn't it come back to us if it gets relocated?
I mean, we're speaking to more or less the,
No, I know that about the design, but I'm just wondering if the fence line gets relocated. I don't think you'd hear anything different from us.
it may, I don't know for sure, but I just know that this after we
Yeah,
conclude, we're not done.
I'm not trying to be a jerk, but the survey doesn't show the
yeah, I just noticed that. We have an earlier survey here, so we would update this. We could see one where the greenhouse, which is also 2 feet, within 2 feet of the property line on the east side. So there's the greenhouse right in this location.
Mhm.
Okay.
Any other questions?
No, I think it looks great.
Okay. I will make a motion to approve as amended, and the amendment is essentially that we're adding 3 gates, 2 doubles and 1 single, to the fence in various areas. That will be on the minutes, and I would ask for a second on that.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Lombardi.
Thank
you,
you.
Lombardi.
Thank you kindly, and Happy New Year to all of you.
You too.
Thank you, Joe. You too. You too, Michael.
Thank you. Happy New Year, everyone.
Okay. Lombardis are free to go. All right, let's move on to ARB, next new application, ARB 20-66, 68 Main Street awning.
64.
It says 64 on one thing, it says 68 on another.
You're here to represent the
8
application.
on the drawing.
Hit the raise hand button.
And it says 68 on the drawing.
I know,
Yes.
it says 68 on
Yep, the drawing.
the agenda too.
The neighbor's sign is 68. Squint 68.
Mhm. That might be the same building though.
It is, because the neighbor coming to the
Right.
70, yeah, up the hill.
Do we have somebody on?
Yep. Yes. Hi, good evening.
Hello.
Hello. Yeah, it is 6468. It's the same building with 2 different offices. Yes, you're correct. Yes.
All right.
Okay. So basically, this is nothing new for you. It's the same. We just rebranded. We used to be William Ravis Legends, and we have become Corcoran Legends Realty. So basically, it's the same sign, the same size. We just changed the name and the color.
Okay. Did the old sign have the address on it?
Not the address. I think they just had the name, not the address.
Okay.
Not the number. No. Yes.
And you have a
Yep, I'm pulling it up.
okay. Do we know what the old color was too?
Blue was a blue
I
color.
thought it was blue,
Yeah.
which is not in keeping with the rest of the,
Oh, the building. Actually, this is a much nicer color for the building. Yeah.
yeah.
Nope, it just said William Ravis Legends Realty Group along the fascia.
Okay.
Right.
So we're just adding a like an 18 by 15 sign below the awning that just has the
That's
name
correct.
and the
Yeah,
da-
just
and
the
the
name. Yep.
address
Yeah.
on it.
That's correct.
Sarah, could you bring that up?
Sure.
So can I ask a question while you're bringing it up? So unfortunately I couldn't see this today because I'm not in town, but as it exists, both the awning over the door as well as the larger awning had the name repeated twice with Legends Realty.
I show you it. I'll show you my screen and.
Yeah. Thank you.
Nope, didn't work. Now, can you see it?
Yes. So where's the sign over? I feel like we're getting 2 signs though, right? One, the main sign, and now there's one over the door as well. Am I
No,
missing?
there's-
No,
As
no,
you
no,
can see-
next to the door.
As
So
you can see, there is one next to the door.
Next to the door. Yes.
Oh, so that I see. So the 15 by 18,
is this
is-
one.
Is that one right?
and it's made of PVC.
That's correct.
Gotcha. Okay. That's what I didn't understand.
And that's a faded black squint optometry,
Mhm.
but it was black.
Oh, was it? Oh, that's interesting.
The squint, yeah, I think it was. It's been there a
Okay.
while. It's been there a while.
And just because I'm not totally getting it, so your Corcoran 68, and we're still going to see the 68 on Squint?
There's no 68 you see on the drawing, I think it's from the squint screen. From the squint optometry. Can we go to the new one?
There's not going to be a number
Yeah,
on your
there's
sign.
not going to be a number.
There's
no.
no-
Yeah, that 68's on the other on the other one.
Scroll down. Keep just the rest of it, keep it right there.
Yeah,
So,
Oh, was there 68?
Yeah, yeah.
so I'm saying is 68 on Squint and it's gonna be on this?
Well, we are 68, Squint is 64, so I don't know why they have, maybe it used to be 68 on both, I'm not really sure, but this is 68.
I'll be honest with you, for an 1.6 inches high, I could see the number twice.
Yep. I hear you. I just want to make sure before you print it that you realize they both say 68.
I got you. Although it's the other,
No, Consolidated Hudson is 64.
Oh,
so that is the same building.
Yeah, I just checked it. It has 64 on the door.
Could we scroll up? Yeah.
Maybe that, yeah.
Yeah, you were not getting a three-dimensional look at the awning while it's above the windows. Kind of makes you look like the 68 is on there, on the new one.
Mhm.
All right. And the letters on the front edge are I think what, 8 inches? So it's not very big at all. I'm good to go with it. Anybody have any other questions?
No, I think it's an improvement over the last one for sure.
Absolutely, I agree.
Yeah, agree.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Good night.
Bye-bye. Good night.
Bye. Good night.
Okay. Moving along. ARB 20-67. Villa Lawaro LLC, exterior elevation change, 67 North Broadway. That's appropriate. ARB 2067, and it's 67 North Broadway. Okay, Mr. Walco.
There we go. Unmute.
I hear you. I don't see you. There you okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yep. And I can see you too.
All right, I can't see myself. Oh, there I am. Okay. My name's Jonathan Walco with Stephen Tilley Architect. I'm here on behalf of the owners of Villa Lawaro. This is a pretty simple project, I believe. Let me share a screen with you guys. Let's see if I can get to it. Basic. There we go. Let's see, am I getting there? Let's see. Having a little bit of technical difficulty getting you guys to the share screen.
We're used to it.
My apologies.
No.
Usually I'm pretty good about this. Portion of screen. Use a computer.
Here it comes.
Go. Come on.
Okay.
Okay. So for some reason there's some sort of green thing on there. So what we're looking at is, let me get to the elevations, is one of the elevations, the south elevation, right along the aqueduct. The aqueduct is along here, and we're replacing one individual window up here that's sort of bites into a buttress that we have on the building now. We're replacing the roofing and taking care of some stucco. We have some pretty intensive damage from a leaky roof over the years. And we see this as an opportunity to take advantage of and fix this window, which looks into a bathroom, which is A, not tempered, and B, right next to a toilet. So it's really, and gives, good views right into the bathroom. So we're making it just a shorter window, and extending the little bit of a buttress that we have on the rest of the on the rest of the elevation. Pretty difficult to see from, let's see, from the aqueduct. Let's see, where's about the, now we got a tree over here. So it's a little bit of a difficult one to see. So I don't think it really has much impact on anybody.
I have a question. Is the terrace is not occupiable? Because I saw it was just an EPM roof.
Right, it's not occupiable now. It's actually more of a pain because it always has to be cleaned out, and that's one of the reasons why we have some of the damage. There's the trees alongside of it, the big horse chestnuts,
Yeah.
and they land and they clog everything. So it's really not conducive.
What else are we doing here?
That's pretty much it.
Okay.
We're repairing some of the stucco and putting on new coping covers to match exactly what's there.
Are you replacing the leaders?
We are replacing leaders. My apologies. We are replacing leaders on both sides. We already got approval from the National Trust in their review. So for whatever that's worth.
Now this is just a carriage house, right?
This is just the carriage house. Yeah.
I guess once you put on the register the main house, everything gets in.
It's the property itself. It's part of it. So.
Okay. Anything special or changes in the gutters and leaders or?
No, I mean, what was originally there was monkeyed with around in I believe it was 98. And so we're just kind of going simple, matching exactly what's there.
Is it copper?
No, it's going to be painted. It's going to be painted anodized white to match what's there right now.
Okay. Any
As
other
much as we
changes?
love to use copper, doesn't really, it's not appropriate.
Okay. Any other changes, questions, concerns, anybody from the board? No? Okay. I will make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Thank you. Have a happy new year. Take care.
You too. All righty. Moving along. ARB 20-68, 68 Greenway Drive. I got a feeling that address may change too. Addition?
83 Greenway, I think.
80, no, okay. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't know where okay.
Hello. So let me share screen.
Oh, Mr. Malone's back.
So this is, a small addition for a screen porch in the Field Point development.
Mm-hmm.
So there's very little leeway in terms of what the design could be, and additions aren't really allowed up there, except in the case of something that was an option in the building when it was first designed. So the screen porch was an option in this model. So what we're showing, I can just go to plan quickly. It's probably. It's partial plan is what we're showing, but basically we're adding a simple rectangular addition to the rear of the house.
So you're not just enclosing a porch, John?
No, it's not an existing porch, it's a new building.
All
right. So it's basically this one-story addition here to the side.
John, can you zoom in on the addition?
Yeah.
Great, thank you.
Yes. So what's odd about it, the windows, there's no glass in it. It looks like it's glass, but it's not a traditional window. It's a screen window, which is this thing here.
Uh-huh.
So it's a window that's designed to take a retractable screen. So hard to explain. But it looks like this when it's closed, and then when you open it, it looks like Oh, here's a before and after. Oh, this shows it open. So the two sashes move into the middle. So this part is glazed, and the top and bottom are screens that retract.
Oh.
Sort of. Oh, here. This is kind of a better image.
But you don't have the glazed piece, or do you?
You do. You have a glazed piece, so you can like close it in the rain, but it's not a window like an insulated glass window. It's like a single pane screen, screen window.
Okay, you're gonna have to explain the whole.
Yeah, it's really hard to figure out, right? It's
So there's glass in the middle, and the screen is up above. Down, or the glass
I
is.
think it's two pieces of glass in the middle, one that goes up and one
yeah,
that
it's
goes
like
down.
it's two sashes
Got it.
stuck like this, and then they come on. I'm trying to figure out what's happened here. Let me stop the share a second.
Are there any of these up there?
There are screen porches up there.
Hmm.
Yeah. Wait for program to respond. I'm sorry that my
So the screens are like blinds, or
froze.
Yeah.
Acrobat just froze. Hold on, let me see what's going on here.
so these screens are like blinds that kind of pull up and.
Yeah, so like there's a mechanism for retractable screens where there's a roller screen, and this is a bottom and top roller screen, and the windows slide into place in the center. They sort of stack on top of each other. They pull out two screens. So it allows you to have a situation like, and usually in a screen porch, what you do is you take the screens out, put the glass in, take the glass out, put the screens out, and this is a more controlled way of doing it, we hope. Let me figure out what happened to the drawings.
I'd never seen it before, but I think it's a pretty good idea.
Yeah, it's an interesting idea, and it's a very thin profile. Hopefully it will look good.
Do you want Sarah to bring up the other one up?
Yeah, I think, let me just see. I think I got there. Don't know why it crashed like that. Sorry. There we go.
That's like one of the great mysteries of the world, Sean.
Uh-huh.
Why did my computer crash?
Okay. So to get a quick look at what the building is like, this is kind of the language of it. So light blue and white trim, black windows. So that's the same language that's going to be brought into the new edition. What you see here, there'll be, the same wood siding with trim, white trim, black window, or these frames will be black to match.
Are we looking from the back here, John?
Back.
What side of the house were we seeing?
Yeah, so there it is in the back. Yeah, this little
okay.
bump out there.
Are you missing that white trim, the vertical trim on the corner?
Are we? We may be. It should have a corner board to match whatever else is happening there if it's not shown. Just see what's on the house. Yeah, there is. Let's see if we're showing it.
Yeah, there's a white trim.
Yeah, there's a corner board. If it's missing, yeah, no, we should have that. Yeah, it's not shown. So we would have a corner board at the two exposed corners. Yeah, I'm sorry I missed that. Yeah, there should be a corner board on all of these. There's an EPDM roof on it. It's not visible from anywhere except the upper level. The property is very well screened in general, so it's not really visible from the street or from other properties. But
and it's approved. It's been approved, right, by the community?
Yes, it has.
yes, yeah. So it meets the internal design guidelines, or was approved based on the internal.
Yeah, which is, for me, is half the battle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree, Rick. I think they're so picky about making sure it conforms.
Exactly. I agree. All right. Any other questions from anybody?
Nope.
Okay. Do I have a motion to approve?
So move.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Bye.
Thanks for the catch on the corner boards. We'll pick those up.
Thanks.
Have a good holiday, guys.
You too.
Thanks.
That's about to get a little more complicated. Okay, we'll move on now to ARB 20-69, 3 Clifton Place Pool.
There I am.
We got you.
My
Hello.
name is Herb Feuerstein. I'm the architect representing the Sykes for the addition of a pool. Not sure, just get my drawing up. Taking a while to load. This house was built just around the turn of the last century. The front of the house actually faced Broadway, which is, how would I share the screen with you?
There's a screen share on the bottom of your screen. It's in green.
Ah, there we go. Thank you.
Yep.
So let me see, what do I want? I want this. All right.
It may take a second. There it goes.
Okay. So this is Clinton Place. Broadway is somewhere off the screen. This is actually the front door to the house. This is the rear of the house. This is a big terrace where the Sykes spend most of their time. Matthew Willinger was the lead designer, James Doyle Associates, the landscape architect. He's present too if we have questions later. And it's a difficult site. There's actually a beautiful hemlock tree here. The rear of the property slopes. One of the things we're doing in this project is adding another foot to this retaining wall and leveling this area. And the natural place for a pool in a grand house like this is along this main axis. It also puts it next to this covered porch and to this open terrace, which is where the Sykes spend all their time. It also allowed us to minimize the amount of additional lot coverage. Typically, pools are very hard. They have large paved areas around them. In this case, we have an edge around the pool. We're filling in a little area here, and this is an open covered porch. There'll be a fence that encloses the pool area and the property. We have another plan of that. They're also adding a fence at the front of their property and 2 gates. There were, the house across the street is a rental, and they had a lot of problems with people parking on their lawn, driving onto the property. And since this effectively acts as the rear of their house, they spend time here and they were uncomfortable with that. So they're adding this fence. And we did need 2 zoning variances for lot coverage, which although we shrunk it slightly through a variety of eliminations, we needed a variance for that, and we received it, and a variance for a pool in a side yard, not in the rear yard. I think that's basically the overview, and I don't know if you have questions.
Did the ZBA speak to the fences?
Location wise, yes. You're there to, we got full approval from them. They didn't have any issues with that. We're really here to see if you like the approve the fences chosen.
The style and the height of the fence.
Yes.
Mhm.
So just to clarify, the planning board, you did present the perimeter fence to the
Correct.
board?
Correct. This is
Both the location, the height, and
yes.
the size of it. It was,
Yeah,
not
this
just
is
the pool fence. Because I
Yeah.
tried to find the planning board decision. It wasn't included within the packet, and I didn't see a reference in the application to the perimeter fence. I only saw the pool fence.
It's been part of the application all along.
Is this across from Nui?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. I didn't go down the street, but
Also one other point is, obviously, it's far from the rear property line, and along this edge, this property actually fronts on Hancock Place. So this is sort of the rear of their yard. And this corner comes to a sharp angle. So there's really nothing back here. It's a wooded area. Most of the outdoor space for the house on Hancock is here. And this lot is completely empty and actually is owned by the Sykes.
So which was one of my questions. So the lot that the owners purchased, you're
Correct.
now running a fence? and separating?
No, the pool fence is gonna enclose this area.
What about the perimeter fence?
The perimeter fence, I believe, just runs to the front edge of the property.
And it's gonna stop at the original boundary of the house, not include the new
Correct,
lot that was purchased by them?
correct.
I don't know that they could put a fence there by code, because if they own the lot, I think if they close it off, they have to, it's some tax code issue. I know somebody else who'd had to do the same thing, couldn't fence it off.
So the perimeter fence is not going to actually enclose the perimeter of the house. It's only gonna run in two sides.
Correct. It's really to keep people from parking, driving into their driveway, etc.
I think the problems that the Sykes have had with that issue is legendary.
Mhm. But is it clear on this drawing that the perimeter fence?
There's another drawing that just shows the extent of the fence stopping at the lot line, but I don't see how this. You mentioned that not that it makes any difference, but you mentioned that it faces on Hancock. It doesn't.
This property,
yeah,
extends all the way. We probably have photos at the beginning of this. If you bear with me.
Well, I'm looking at the lot plan. That's what I'm looking at.
Yeah, we have some site photos early on. See how long it takes.
I'm looking at the location map.
I'm gonna get there.
Well, if you look just in the location map, I don't see how it extends there.
This lot, if you're looking at on what page are you on?
I'm on page 15. I'm just in the location map.
Let me just go back. LS 0.01.
I'm zoomed in, so let me just zoom out. It's page 15 of the PDF.
Oh, so yours are numbered differently than mine. There's an aerial site location and there's another site location map.
Wait, let me 1 second. Mine's also acting crazy because it's the biggest model we've ever had. Okay, so let me get the full fit. It's C1.
C1. I have LS. I'm gonna ask Matthew to walk us through C. Let me just see if that is
It's the stormwater management plan, and it has a location map that shows all the lots that are around it. I don't think this is a big deal. It just sort of says it. But I think what's important to what the question's being asked is how does the fence wrap around the property, and where does it stop? And it's pretty clear in that drawing where it is. It's actually the clearest one.
Let me see if I can find it.
It's right.
I don't have I see. You have the engineer's drawings. I don't have them on my screen. I don't have them here.
Can you share, Ken?
Sure. It's right after the description of the fraternity at MIT. Sorry, let me just change it back.
Sorry to interrupt. Is Matthew Willinger did he do any part of the drawings? Because
Yeah, these are his drawings, and I think Ken is referring.
okay, I'm gonna promote him to a panelist because he has his hand raised.
That's great. That'd be great.
Okay, so here we go. And there we go.
And there's also a comment from the homeowner that 3 Clifton's original front door of the house faces Hancock, but is not on Hancock. The current footprint is solely on Clifton.
Yep.
Agree.
So just to zoom in, this is the site. This is the map.
Right.
It just shows it. And I guess there was that this went all the way through to Hancock. I guess that's what was being said.
Right, correct. I think actually there's some aerial historical maps that show this house is one of the original houses in that area. And it's hard to tell from the fuzzy.
No. You can see that it's faced the way that it faced.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. It actually went all the way to Broadway.
But none of the property currently abuts Hancock, because 11
Correct.
Hancock is behind you, correct?
Correct. This is the whole, the lot is this whole shaded.
Okay, so I'm going to do one other thing. I just want to show you what I was talking about. I'll just say it. I'm sort of surprised about the fence on the back, but we all know about neighbors being problematic. Okay, back to here. And I'm just going to go, I think you need to highlight this somehow in one drawing or another. So the fence that we've just seen does this. It's got an opening on there, goes around, comes back this way.
Yes.
Goes across here, here, and then to the house. So that's the fence.
There's actually, if we go.
Sorry. No, I got it. I'm going.
Yeah, yes. Matthew, is that correct?
I thought.
Yes, that is basically correct. But we do have a drawing.
Sure.
Where this is drawn out. It actually is very similar to your drawing, but I can try to share that if you'd like.
I'll stop sharing. Yep.
Let me.
I think I know where it is.
One moment, please.
So while we're looking, it's, we've been having this discussion about Ardsley Park, as in Ardsley Park, and and the idea that these lawns should be fenced in. It's not an easy discussion for us because we sort of, the park part of Ardsley Park is people's front yards, and the sort of sloping characteristic of these. And so this house, I never knew that the front of the house was facing towards Hancock or up towards Broadway.
If you look at the screen right now, this shows the red is.
We're not seeing your screen yet.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Can you see this drawing?
Yes. Now we can.
Okay, so this shows where our pool code fence is.
Got it.
Okay, so there currently, the property line, the entire back of the property line and this side property line are currently already fenced. So we would be changing that existing fence out to a pool code fence.
This is where I didn't understand the drawing. So what you're pointing out in red is the pool fence?
Yes.
Which you're also calling the perimeter fence?
It's to comply with the code for enclosing the pool area. So that is the perimeter of the backyard, and there's an additional fence along this line, which is that front edge of their property. No, there's some screening there already, obviously, and there is planting. And Matthew, you could talk about that.
Yeah, you're increasing the planting along the front. It would be great if you could go through that.
Yeah, and I'll just point out again, this property is somewhat unique in that because the front of the house faced Hancock Broadway, the living areas of the house are not where you would consider them normally to be, meaning the backyard. So that terrace at the front of the house is their primary living area.
This area.
Yeah, And if you point out, the kitchen opens onto it, the center hall opens onto it, and that's their informal space where they spend most of their time. It also is in the sun. The other side of the house is on a hill and is fairly dark, as well as shade from the hemlock, which is being preserved.
Yeah, so if you can see this, this is the view from Clifton Place. And this was originally the backyard of the house. So there's an extensive, very beautiful and very ample outdoor living patio over right in this part of the house here.
Yep, lots of sun. Can you go to the landscape plan and walk us through the plantings and you're thinking about the landscaping?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, you just yep.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is our site plan. So this is that very large, beautiful patio, the primary outdoor living area. Here is Clifton Place. There's a beautiful, magnificent beech tree here. There's a magnificent, extremely large tulip tree here. And there are some existing trees here, all of which we're keeping. We would like to augment this planting with shrubs, including rhododendron and viburnum, some spruces. There is existing screening planting over in this little section here. We would like to add some additional screening over here, just to give a little more privacy, because there's a very large White House right across the street over here.
A notorious White House, yeah.
Yes.
And
yeah, there actually is, it's very exposed currently to that White House.
So I think you can pause here. So I can really appreciate the landscaping to use that as a device for screening and then have the fence for protection. But I wonder if you could sort of just hear me out on this, is to push the fence a little bit back behind the trees and have it be an overgrown sort of underneath, blocking mechanism that does all the things that you want it to do. And the only place the gate really is right at the gates where people are pulling into the driveway and such. Do you follow? It seems you're filling up that lawn with lots of plantings, which I don't think we have anything really to say other than as to use it as a screening and protection device so people don't pull up their cars in there. You follow? We've seen it elsewhere in town where there is sort of a lot of rationale behind sort of screening areas, privacy of the house, and trying to do that along, in this case, I'm
thinking.
Sorry, it's not the one
I'm thinking that fence, the fence that's not part of the pool fence, is strategically located because of the size of the trees. It's not going through the center or close to the. See that has pushed off away from the center of that tree.
Away from this.
What I'm saying, this is what I'm saying, is I'm saying, and I don't think I think I'm only saying it in a light way, more as a conversation for the whole group, is to actually push the fence back this way. Or maybe there's a sort of, forget that part. But the idea being that it sort of goes behind all this growth. And what you really see when you look at this house is the big tree, and then the bush that's sort of providing the additional, that's what you see. And we've seen that in other parts of Ardsley Park and all on the other side of Broadway, where there are some houses that are up on a hill and the curving driveway, and they get all the privacy they need. And then you notice that there's a light fence behind it, mostly for deer control, that protects the house.
By the
way, I'm not sweating this one. I'm just sort of suggesting that the idea, and when you look at the view up and down Clinton, it's got a lot of growth to it, other than that White House that's there.
Well, it is set back. I can't scale off the drawing, but it's set back a good 6 to 10 feet off the roadway anyway. which is not owned by the Sykes. Otherwise,
Mhm.
you know,
Yep.
There are also one thing. One thing about these, I don't know if you can see these two
Yep.
existing trees here. These are magnolias, which
Yep,
are
beautiful.
wider trees. They're very, very beautiful trees that we're striving to keep. So,
Yep. Can you go to the street view just for a second? Because I think those spruces that are already there tell the story.
yeah, I'm sorry, I'm going the wrong way.
Matthew, you might want to look at the.
Yes. So, are you talking about these trees over
Yeah.
here?
So what I'm saying is, just hear me out. I'm saying instead of having the fence in front of it, but again, I get it. It's the property owners. The Sykes don't want to see the fence. They rather see the greenery. Is those do a great job of screening right from the corner. And
Matthew,
Yes.
you might want to put the boards you designed specifically for the ARB that had
Yes,
other
I will
photos
do that.
that give you a better sense of scale. There's so much space to the rear of this property. The front of the property is actually somewhat compact, and we have some other photos that will give you a better feel.
Great.
The house is also fairly tall. The fence will not obscure the house in any way.
No, it's not the concern. Yep.
Yeah.
That's a lovely fence.
Thank you.
I think it's at the front, maybe.
I'm sorry. One moment.
There they are. Well, no, they don't give a better sense of scale. Maybe
No, not
down
really.
one. Maybe no, that's the rear. No, this doesn't help.
Yeah, this actually does not help that. I'm sorry.
These photos, by the way, if you scroll down a little bit, this photo is almost taken from the road. I'm not standing, you know, I didn't walk 40 feet off the the edge of the road. So there is less space than you think on that side.
This photo is looking
I'm
right
not
from
arguing.
this area.
You gotta understand. I'm not arguing anything other than, if you can pause right here for a second. I'm not even arguing. I'm just putting it up for discussion for the group. Is these three here do a great job of doing, I think, the job that you're talking about, right? And it looks like you're going to continue them here, right? That's going to happen, right? You're screening. And then I see the tree, you know, it's hard when you do these like existing in that. So the question was, so for me, the question is, what is this group, what are we looking at here? The sort of field of, is it going to fill in? Is it going to become dense and therefore more opaque? And I'm not arguing about opacity. I'm not talking about that. It's just shielding and trying to reduce the presence of the fence. That's all I'm talking about.
And I appreciate the suggestion and the conversation, because for me, the concern always in Ardsley Park is that every application that comes before us, somebody is trying to fence off their property. And as we've discussed with prior applications, the whole design of Ardsley Park is to have lawns, grand houses with grand lawns roll into each other, so there's a park-like feel. This is an incredibly important house in Ardsley Park, both in terms of the design, the scale, and the location, and the date of it, obviously. And if this house, we approve of a fence, and I know you went to great lengths to pick a beautiful fence that's in keeping with the house, but once a fence goes, a perimeter fence is approved for this particular house, it is going to set a precedent. And we are forever going to get other applications that come before us and point to this house and this fence as an example of something that was allowed. And I think we are changing the face of Ardsley Park. So if Ken has a suggestion that you're open to, and we can push the fence back a little bit and disguise it a little bit more so it's not as present, I think it goes a long way to making us feel that we're not changing what historically this entire area of Irvington was designed to be. I will say I fully appreciate and understand the unique location of this house in Ardsley Park. You do have Mercy College across the street. You have a property that's one door down that has been used in the past as an Airbnb, and I know there's been a lot of trespassers on this property as a result, so I can understand the reasons for security and privacy. But adding the gates of this size and a perimeter fence of this size, we are changing the park, and it does concern me.
You know, I agree with you, Deb. I think the only thing that in terms of something coming forward later is that it is a backyard because it's situated so uniquely.
It is a backyard, but
I
yet
drove
the
over
irony,
there today, so
yeah, but the irony is the front door is still the front door, and the front door is Hancock. This is the front door. They may use the porch as you said, primary outdoor living space, but it's still the front door. Nobody's going around the back to enter this house. So when the
well, I think to play devil's advocate, it's just that if someone else came forward and wanted to enclose their front yard and cited this as, you know, their reference, it's a back. You can say it's a backyard because it is a backyard. Technically,
I don't know if you can if the front door is still the front. I mean, they're not. The front door of this house is now on Hancock. It's you know, it's the photo that we're looking at. They you know, it may be called something else, but that's how they enter the house. And that's
here's
the photo that you're looking at is actually, this is the original front door.
yeah, but I'm looking at the front facade above it, and that's your front door. The front facade is the door to get to the house, unless they're going through the kitchen on the side.
Yeah, yeah.
I think we're in the same.
Is the problem house with the colonnade, the whatever, the colonial?
Yes.
Kitty corner, right? Okay. So I took
Over
my
here.
little walk down Clifton, and there's this what they did for the property, the larger property, the grander property across Clifton, is it's got a deep row of bushes, and that's how it deals with it, you know, to create privacy for the back of that house. I don't know if you know this, but if you go on the walk, it's like a catch-22 for us. It's just the holes, as Deb said, it's once we do that fences are going to show up everywhere. It's a kind of.
Let me stop everybody because this fence has already been determined. They have planning board and ZBA approval on these fences.
Good for them.
For locations.
I got it, but it's like there's no conversation with this committee at all about that and what it means architecturally, with all due respect to those other committees. It's not their role to architect.
Well, it is their role. It's in their.
It's zoning. It's the zoning question. Height.
Read their. I'm just telling you, Ken. I've gone through.
No. They stuck their thumb in our nose. I got it.
Well,
yeah, it's a little less clear on this application though, because I'm not seeing the perimeter fence in the front that borders Hancock referenced in the planning board decision. And I don't want to get into technicalities because I think that we understand what this homeowner is trying to achieve, and we understand the security and the privacy, and also this orientation.
We're very much aware. We're all supporting that. We got it. Yeah.
But
like the two Hancock application, the fact that the fence was on the drawings that were approved is what we were told is.
You know, it's funny how that doesn't work in most other locations. You know, if I draw a line on my drawings and DOB said, yep, it's all approved, they can come back 5 minutes later and say, nope, it's not because we missed it. We didn't understand the intent. It's, you know, I understand that, Rick. Totally get it, what you're saying. I mean, the other part is they've already done a fence here within the property, buried it within the hedges, right by the pool, that fence on the west side. There's like a row of bushes that are, right, you know, so you don't see it. So already there's the concept there. And I think we all appreciate that it is a higher quality fence that's in keeping with the historic and very beautiful nature of the house. I'm just saying, pull it back and bury it and save yourself some money at the end of the day. I have to say it, Rick. I just have to say it. And I think Deb does too.
And I totally get where you're coming from. I'm just telling you what, you know, our parameters are. And, you know, we talked a couple of meetings ago about talking to the to the Board of Trustees about changes, and I'm not going to be in this alone. I mean, there are people with strong opinions about fences in this neighborhood, and unless I get some help to write the letter, it's
okay. Yep. All right.
I mean, that's the way we have to go about, stopping having other people tell us, our business. But that's not going to get us anywhere right now.
Well, we can, well, yeah, we can.
Yeah, we can.
We can.
I would say we would have to go back to the owners and talk about it. I mean, one of the reasons that fence is there in the first place is because they had long standing problems.
No, we're all,
Yes, and they continue to, and they're a lovely family with young daughters. They want to enjoy their property. The front of their property, I've seen myself people parking right up onto the property, and I've seen it myself where it's an abundance of cars from across the street.
Like I said, the problems here are legendary. We've all, heard about them and seen them. May I make a suggestion? I would suggest at this point, you're not digging a hole for a pool in January, or fence posts. So why don't you give us a month to find out where we stand as far as these fences are concerned before we make any changes. I don't really care to make any changes to a drawing that may already be locked in. But if in fact they're not, when we come back next month, we should be able to address these and be done with, the housekeeping of what our abilities are.
I just do want to point out that when we thought about this fence, yes, we certainly, the trees in this area, the screening plants are mature and existing. We did want to continue that. But in this section, I will tell you, this tree is one of the largest trees I have ever seen.
Spectacular tree.
I've been a landscape designer in this region for a long time. We certainly would not want to get any closer to that tree. This is also a very, very large tree. So we really want to work with the existing trees that are there. That's important to us. And that was extremely important to the planning board. It's extremely.
Yeah, they were just in a situation where they made allowances for removals of trees and infuriated neighbors, but let's not even go back there.
Well, you know what? This is a magnificent home, but it is really a very, very important thing. There are magnificent existing trees on this property.
Yeah, we're not calling for any of those. Anything
protect and preserve them.
We don't want to upset them at all.
And to your point, Rick, I mean, I would think that this board would have no problem approving the pool fence. We're only asking to revisit this certain portion of the perimeter fence. So I don't know if getting approval on some but not all is possible, but
once again, I don't think anything's being built in January. So if we
Rick, I think that I'm fine with waiting the month. We could look at it. I mean, I'll point out one other concern. I can't point at the screen, but that turnaround area, again, it also is not as big as you think. If those gates or whatever that is steps back, you start to diminish your ability to pull cars in and drop people off, leave a car there. It's a very very tight area. The width is literally one car width. It's you can fit two cars in the wider area, alongside the terrace plantings. It's very deceptive. It looks like a huge amount of space, and it's less so than you think. And Matthew knows a hell of a lot more about trees than I do. But
well, the other thing is, I also know how we want to use the property, and this area here. I don't know if you could see my cursor.
Yep.
We want this to be a play lawn, a play area for their girls.
But again, Rick, if you needed to review internally, and we could talk to the owners and see what we could come up with, we're happy to come back next week if you're not.
I would, I mean, I'm
Next month.
I'm open to other members of the board and listening to what they have to say. I just think it makes the most sense because having recently been down this road, I don't necessarily want to get involved in litigation and or any other nonsense.
Mhm. Can I ask you just a few questions for my notes so that we're clear when we return, or at least that I am? So the what's described as the black iron fence, which is the perimeter fence, that's 6 foot high. Is that correct?
That the fencing in the front is 5 feet, 5 foot high.
5'9"?
5 foot.
5 feet.
Oh, 5 foot. Okay. And then just take me around the perimeter, because I noticed, I think it changes, right? Obviously, because you also have an 8 foot when it's, go ahead. So it's 5 foot along Hancock.
Clifton.
Sorry, with Clifton. Sorry, I'm thinking of the field application. Yep, 5 foot along Clifton, and the gates. Each gate is how wide?
How tall?
The driveway gate. Yeah, the driveway gates. How wide are they?
Oh, just give me one moment, please. I'm sorry.
They're the width of the driveway.
If you scroll up, I think you had that information.
I can go right here.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the driveway gate.
Right.
I'll just so it's 16 feet.
16 feet. Okay.
8 and 8, 2 8s.
Yep. And that's on both sides. That's the same, correct?
Yes,
Okay.
Approximately. And then there is also a pedestrian. These are the pedestrian gates to get in the pool area.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so 5 feet fronts Clifton. What on Hancock? How high is the fence?
It's not Hancock. It's
Hudson Road.
We don't. This.
I'm sorry. I
Property,
don't
the
know
only
where
road
that-
the only road this property abuts is Clinton Place. There's a I can't point to the screen. To the rear of the property is another lot. That's the rear of another home located on Hancock, and the pool side, the pool edge of the property. That's a rear lot of another property. That actually, it's 2 separate lots. If you looked at the site plan, it shows as a separate lot, a little triangle, but that's owned by the property that abuts Hancock.
So is it true that all the fencing is 5 feet high?
No, I don't think so. No, that's what is. I'm not really following so go ahead.
Yeah, so it's the front, both the fencing and the gates is 5 feet high. And then I believe it's 4 feet around the perimeter in the back and the side, leading up to that.
All right, I think we should go to the one of the drawings that shows the fence locations.
Could someone point out the picture from the porch? Oh, is that a terrace there too? Oh, okay, now I got it.
Yeah, it's a screen porch.
Which one is the
Right
south
there.
one?
Yeah, that's a screen porch. We're trying to utilize that as part of the outdoor pool area and minimize the amount of.
Understood. And it's got that inside corner. Is there anything you have to do to that to keep it pool safe?
Yes, we have a comparable gate right over here.
The stone balusters have to have something put in front of them.
I see.
The gaps are not more than 4 inches. The spacing is great.
Yes, so this is large, mature rhododendron planting. There is a little section, and what we had planned to do, it's completely hidden by evergreen material. But in order to make it pool code, we had planned to use plexiglass that over the balustrade.
On the inside or the outside?
The outside.
Ooh, Okay.
It's completely, but it is.
No, I hear you. I heard you. I'm not trying to, I'm really not trying to undo anything more.
It would be behind these existing plantings.
Okay, so maybe we just talk in terms of north, south, east, west, right? So the west perimeter fence is 5 feet. The south perimeter fence is, you're saying 4 feet?
I'm sorry, let me go back to that. Let me go back to our drawing. Okay, so along here,
Mm-hmm.
this is all 5 feet.
Okay.
Then through here, this is 4 feet.
Okay.
But this is complete. This fencing is completely hidden in a hedge.
And that's just pool fencing, straight pickets.
On both sides, yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then this fencing, which would replace the existing big heavy chain link that's there, both on this side and the back, would be converted to, and this is all, will be all hidden in new planting. Would be 4 feet.
The entire, yeah, so then you scroll across, you're going, yep, south all the way across. Now you're coming up east. That's still 4.
Yes.
And then continuing on.
Yes, and then it would meet up with the garage.
Uh-huh.
And then we would have
It's actually the wall at that location. There's a retaining wall that acts as the fence.
This stucco wall would be acting as the fence. And then our decorative fencing continues over here.
At 4 feet.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yes.
So
with a pool code gate entry into the backyard here.
So the 5-foot perimeter fence along Clifton does not attach to any other fence. It just runs that entire.
Yes, correct.
Okay, because I thought on the drawings it said it was a 6-foot fence that ran, but I must have misread that. I see it here. It says, right?
Right.
Okay.
Do you have a picture of that fence?
Of
the 5-foot fence?
I have our drawing.
That's okay. Yep.
So it's not the same fence with the knuckles in it?
Yes, it is.
Oh, it is. Okay, fine.
It is. Let me go back to this. I may have to reshare. Can you see this?
Yep.
Yeah.
So this is our decorative iron fencing, and this is our gate. It's a continuation.
Oh, so it's the same fence around, it's just different height, all the way around.
No, I'm sorry. If you look at this drawing, we have the
No, it's okay. We're
decorative
asking,
fence
no,
with
we
the
understand.
knuckles is in front.
Yeah. So we understand. The question we have is the fence, the hidden fence.
Yes.
Sometimes not hidden. What does it look like?
It's a
without the knuckles, a fence without the knuckles?
No, it's a black chain link fence, 1 3/4 max opening.
I see.
But that will be everywhere in planting. The gates that are visible will also have knuckles, but they'll have pool code knuckles that are not climbable. So this knuckle is not considered a toe hold because it's slightly smaller.
Okay.
For pool code purposes.
All right. When you come back next month, please have a copy of exactly what that fence is going to look like. The chain link.
Yes.
We know what a chain link fence looks like, but if it's on the drawings, you're bound to it.
You know, I can show you from another project the exact.
Well, Matthew, we have to come back next month anyway, so
yeah,
we'll let you guys move on to your next application.
Next and last. Okay.
All right. So
we will continue this.
Yep.
And we will do our due diligence, and you can speak to your homeowners and see what,
How they feel.
yeah, how they feel about our suggestions.
Yeah,
Oh,
I assume.
I have a question for you guys. Did you ever have a conversation about just a gate across the driveway? I mean, plus the plantings, was that ever part of it, or has it been people like literally running up on the lawn and knocking on doors and things like that? Is it that bad? I've
I
heard
don't know that they are knocking on doors, but I know that the cars and people getting out of cars at all hours.
Yeah,
I know also that, not that you wouldn't hear the noise, but I know that it is an extreme problem
yeah, we all know.
with
Yeah,
neighbors, being very disruptive, damaging the property, damaging the lawns.
This was used as a cul-de-sac.
It's one of the first things, we've been working with these wonderful clients for quite a while, and it's one of the first things that they made clear that they'd like to address.
Got it.
They would like a secure, property for them and their children.
Yep.
Understood. They're doing a beautiful job with this renovation, but let's see what we come up with, and we appreciate what they're trying to achieve here.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you.
And everybody have a happy new year. Let's hope for a better 2021.
Amen. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
See you next
Bye.
month. Okay, someone's got to stop sharing here.
Okay.
All right. All right. We will let thank you.
Thank you. Happy New Year.
Same here. Okay, and last but not least, ARB 20-70, 31 Matheson Park, new house.
Hey, I have a question. Has this been shown before? The house itself been shown before?
To us, no.
No.
Mm-mm.
Not to my knowledge.
No, it's our first treat.
I was over there today. They're taking the house down next to it too.
Mm-hmm.
Not the same people, but
Yeah. Never know.
part of our landscape right now.
Yeah.
Good evening, everyone.
How we doing?
Doing well. Happy holidays. Hope everyone's enjoying the break.
Yep.
I have Howard Williams of Hollander. He is the architect, the landscape architect on it. I am the architect of Vince Pilatico Architecture. This is 31 Matheson. We've been approved through planning. We've been approved through zoning. It's been a process, but here we are. To share my screen.
Sure. Do you want to tell us what the reason for going to ZBA was?
ZBA, we ended up with needing 2 variances on the property. The 2 variances were one for height and one for coverage. Both variances were asking for a significant decrease in what was there. For the height, it was more of a steep slopes condition. And for the coverage, thought you might ask, so I had this ready to go. The total building coverage on the existing property was 11,508. The allowable is 8,425. We asked for, I think it was 7 or 8% to the 9,054. The hardship basically was the steep slopes. Basically, our overage almost equaled our retaining walls in order to, seat the house on the topography. But in both cases, we're substantially less than the house that's existing there. So we decreased the coverage almost 2,500 square feet, and I guess the simplest way to show the story about the height is, I'm assuming my screen is showing well?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. This outline right here, this really light one, is the existing house. That is what's being removed. So this is the front elevation, this is the side elevation, and it's basically just due to, if I can zoom in here successfully, there's an existing retaining wall. It's very rigid. It doesn't encompass the existing topography whatsoever. And by removing that, you'll see that we're adding another 5 feet in height.
Uh-huh.
If we were actually to leave it, we would meet the 35-foot height restriction. But by removing it, we actually still meet the 40-foot height restriction as far as the steep slopes was concerned. So we basically asked them to just modify that just due to the existing retaining walls, existing topography of the property itself. It was a fairly straightforward hearing once we got there.
Okay.
Boy, this sometimes happens with me. I'm looking for within the set that we received, because there's a lot of stuff in the set.
Yes.
Thank you.
That's for sure.
Hopefully not too much.
Well, I don't see these drawings in here. That's what the ones that you're showing
Yeah,
us.
no, we don't have these.
Yes, it's in the architectural set. So it's in the architectural set. For the,
silly for them to send us architectural plans, don't you think?
we submitted everything. We submitted the entire permit ARB set and everything.
Okay, I found it. I found some of it.
Yeah. So if you're looking at the document that I have up, it would be about the 6th page in the PDF.
No, that's not what we have. Just so you know, we're like hunting through our sets, and that's why we didn't see it. I think we have 224 pages.
Mhm.
So that's the problem. The existing context were all the way at the back. It was just mixed up that's why we're having a little bit of, there it is. Okay, I found the set.
Okay. Let me know how I can help.
Why don't you just walk us through the design?
Very good. So I think probably the easiest thing to work for on the design perspective is probably to start with just the site plan itself. So this was the site plan that was approved by planning. You'll see that we're a fair distance off of Matheson Way. So it's a very deep lot, and then we get into the topography, and then it goes down to the Hudson River. The design is basically, so the owner of this 31 also owns 33, which is a beautiful estate Tudor that's been there for many, many years. They purchased 31. So the design intent is to basically, when you're at 33, to see a guest house that relates to 33, and then as we cascade and work down to the topography, it becomes very clean line, modern, and it steps down to work with the existing topography. Hollander's done a great job, great collaboration, in which basically as you approach the house and as you view the house from 33, you don't see the two design styles together. So it's really just this beautiful oasis. And then from the back elevation from the water, again, it just works with the topography. So this is the site plan here. So there's basically a split driveway, one up here to more of the guest house Tudor detail, and then one that works with the topography on its way down that goes towards the more modern. I think the easiest way to show this from a perspective for you guys is to probably just jump into some of the renderings. So this is that upper driveway where you come into the Tudor portion. So it's very heavily planted out, very private. This would be a view from the door of the Tudor portion. And then as you would go down and you would bypass the upper driveway to get onto the lower, this is where you can see the change in topography with a small wall, heavily planted, the Tudor detailing, and then the more modern addition, or it's not an addition, it's the other portion of the house to the left. As you look from the rear of the house, this would be a walkway that's at the lower topography from 33 across to 31. There's a walkway here, all grass, meanders through all of the plantings. This is the edgeless pool. And then this is from the opposite side of the property, looking back up. So there's these stucco terrace walls, heavily planted. And then the next line of walls in have the stone that match basically more of a pool finish and the retaining that really anchor the very gray on gray monotone building. And then obviously the windows themselves, the glass would appear black. Views from the property itself. This is the grass terrace off the lower level. And you can see the bridge and the Hudson River in the background. And this is down the hot tub, down the pool. Again, wraparound edgeless, really capturing all of the views that the property affords. Should I move on to materials?
Can I just ask one question? Compared to where everything is sited now,
Mhm.
what are we looking at?
I'm sorry, what do you mean? What are you looking at?
Where the pool is compared to the siting now and the terraces that are there and the house that's there?
Oh, compared to the existing site.
Mhm.
One moment. So this is the existing. So as you see, they built these walls here and here. One of them is 6 feet tall, one of them is 10 feet tall, and then this is the dwelling of the outline that I showed. So our house is running more at an angle here to capture the views and cascade down the topography.
Mhm. Thank you.
You're welcome.
It was a lot of information.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. I think there's been a lot of conversations, Rick. I actually listened to the last couple months of the hearings and what you've been going through as far as what the role is of ARB planning, zoning. And listen, if you guys ever would like an outside opinion on the process, I would more than welcome a phone call, because for us too, this is an abundant amount of work to not have any feedback from the ARB prior to going through all of the work from a zoning and planning perspective.
Chuck, I will hold you to that.
Oh, please. I mean, I've actually talked to the client too. We would love to just, her as a taxpayer, us as just, as any just neutral feedback that we could give. It's a really big time and financial commitment for somebody to put forward before getting any feedback from a group as yourselves that, have so much say in how it looks.
We're trying to figure out how to go about changing that, and that was part of what I was talking about in the last application.
Yeah, and we had some of the same kind of overlap, it felt like, between planning and zoning. Just both of them opining on different things, and even getting to zoning. It was a process. So if it is needed and if it's not too forward, we would be more than happy to give feedback if it's helpful to the town in the process.
Once again, I may hold you to that.
Please, I would be more than happy to do so.
Okay.
From the exterior materials list, I think this is pretty straightforward. Everything from the Tudor style on the portions of 31, we're basically pulling all of the exact same details off of 33. We're going to actually shop for the same exterior reclaimed brick. We're not going to put something new that's right next to it. So this is a picture of the brick that we will match. 33 also has just this absolutely beautiful slate roof with the snow guards. Again, our intentions is to match that as well. Beautiful eave details with the herringbone brick along with the wood brackets and the window and door trim. This little arch detail with with the rustic materials around it is just, these details are just make the house gorgeous. Soldier courses, things like details like that, we intend to match them all. We have a couple areas on the guest house that we're also going to match the paneling that you would see. Sorry for the poor photo, but the hedges are beautiful as well. Door references. Sorry about that. Something just jumped on me.
Yeah, you went backwards.
And we'll just keep going. I may have accidentally moved that, but shutter details, the dormer details, we're matching all of that. The porch details, the column, the brackets, plan on matching the arches and the nail heads. There it is. So there's the wood door reference, the window references. On the modern side, we're going for a light gray stucco material.
Mhm.
The roof is all flat, so it's going to be just a gray Kemper, sealed rubberized roof that you will only see from a drone. The window details, it would be something this is more of an inspiration image. It would be a very clean monolithic approach. We're actually looking, at 2 different manufacturers price-wise that are going to have, be able to match this detail where it's very thin, and the color is going to be this matched bronze sample.
The glass is going to be smoked?
No.
Okay.
No, just glass in general, if you're on the water looking at it, it appears black. So then this would be the bronze color of all of the window frames on the modern side, which again plays really, really well with the trim that you see within the Tudor. And then all of the railings on any of the exposed terraces is going to be a stainless steel cable and rail system.
The top is mahogany?
Yes, either a mahogany or an iPad.
Decking?
The only other railings that we have on the job itself is if we go back to just the renderings. We're very excited about this detail, so pardon my excitement. But anything that's a walkout on the rear elevation will actually have just glass that sits within the same frame of the window itself. So you'll see that here and here, you'll see that there's a double layer of glass. That glass will actually allow those doors to open, and there'll be a guardrail directly flush at the frame. So we'll basically be able to have glass and glass inside of one frame, which is going to be a really neat detail and not add, anything to the rear facade of the house as far as a plane change. But it will allow these bedrooms to actually either swing or slide those doors open.
I'm really curious. I know you're working in a modern language in the it's not quite the downhill side of the site. It's the piece that's furthest away from 33. And I'm almost, was there any discussion of using the brick in that manner? Sorry. So a couple of things. Is that concrete cast in place, or is it a veneer?
It's a stucco.
It's stucco.
Yes, it's a stucco finish. So to answer the brick question, we looked at it several different ways, and it actually felt contrived. Just as an overall style of architecture and looking to get this glass and really capture these views, having anything that's just brick with just such a
No. I'm thinking. I'm sorry, I'm not being clear. I'm thinking Mesian. He at various points used brick almost entirely on a series of houses, and then moved into a stucco language with frame windows. So it's sort of, I think I get the idea of the addition, and I can't argue with it. The using the inspired form of the Tudor next door as a way to sort of link the two houses. I frankly would think it would be a more modern detailing of it, of which there's plenty of examples, but it's hard to argue or have an intense discussion. It would be something, you'd sit around and you'd push and pull.
We had many. So
I have no doubt you had many. I just wanted to finish my thought.
Oh, sorry.
And so, the way that you're using the stone walls is very modern, right? There's no coping or very minimal coping. The same with the stucco walls. And that's the kind of language that I really appreciate in the landscape. By the way, I really appreciate this landscape. It's as if it's climbing up the hill and into the house. It's quite spectacular. We've worked with Hollander and always come up with very creative and thoughtful and yet modern solutions. And that's a little bit of why that stucco edge at the glass box and is it a gray tint body glass that you're using?
No, the glass itself will have a slight tint to it, just in order to meet.
Yeah, well, you have a big energy code issue, but I can't even comment on that. Just to sort of come back to this, you also have spandrel glass in this at one point, right? I think I see spandrel glass.
Are you referring to here?
Yes.
So basically what we've done here is this is the structure of the building itself.
Yep.
So instead of having that offset, what we're doing is we're actually using back painted glass.
Yeah. So
to cover it, because we looked at doing more of the curtain wall type detailing and things like that. But with the bedrooms, with the family room and everything below that, getting that to have any kind of soundproof detailing.
We do
And
it all the time. Sorry, we do it all the time. It's a kiss mullion system, and actually would be pretty clean instead of a cap system. I get it. It's a glass box. It has that sort of purity of form, and yet this sort of, I'm not gonna die over this. It just feels like that wall in particular that you're just pointing to, because that would be the place to really throw in, and as you've done, the detailing of it that represents that unique quality, and it's framed by the two forms on either side. The glass piece, just help me here, the glass piece just to the left of that piece we were discussing, is that truly a 2-story high, 15-foot wide piece of glass or 10-foot wide piece of glass?
So it is a source of a lot of conversation. So one of the things that we're working on is what is actually feasible. So on the current drawing, you'll see a very faint.
Anything's feasible these days with the Germans. It's like
well, we're pushing it. So it might actually need to come up 42 inches, which would be at the first floor landing, because it goes a little bit below that at the current point. But the actual final height of it might have to come up a little bit, and then we're going to rely on Hollander's plantings to just minimize that. But going back to your comment, I completely get what you mean, by adding that mullion system in here and that detail. But I think there's also something that's very nice about bringing this across. I know it's not going to read exact.
Yeah, but my point is you've made this cubical form, and I'm going to come back to the stucco on the top. I'm coming to a very different viewpoint, because I think there's something about this porch area over here that if you can pull out a little bit more, no, the other way, well, that. But if you pull back, you've got this inspired form of your porch that's in the Tudor piece, the wood, the heavy timber, very expressive of structure. You have a roof on top that's expressed. And now this magic material, what we used to call horse feathers, just goes everywhere. And yet none of that detail comes into here in terms of the windows and that, and you can still have that language. Like, I keep looking at this and wonder why this isn't, and now I'm pointing and you can't see me pointing, why this isn't, it's just beautiful, is these vertical expressions wouldn't be in some way, and even, I keep talking about this here, but in some way would be in keeping with this expression. If you can zoom out, don't zoom out because you'll disappear. That you see in Tudor, it's the frame with the infill piece, and here's the frame, which is very well expressed, happening inside. And I assume, and I don't know that it is, that this a giant cantilever? These are cantilevered off.
I'm sorry, is what cantilevered?
This slab here behind the glass and this roof cantilevered. I don't see columns behind the glass.
Is it cantilevered?
Yeah, is it cantilevered?
No, it has structural corners inside of the glass.
There's a column here and a column here.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, it's very Tudor in a way, right? It's all framed. You have this glass, and you make these. I mean, look at this beautiful piece of glass, right? That is amazing, and I wonder why you're not expressing the two different systems, right? The plane and then the ceiling, or in the case of the Tudor, the roof and then the structure. It's not a huge. It's one of those, studio critique sessions. This wall, I don't want to do anything with this wall. I'm sort of this wall. I don't want to even do anything with this wall. This is all spectacular. The landscaping comes up, it climbs up to the house, and then you put the glass pavilion there, which is a form we all know very well. And I just want it to be more like these walls, which is pure framed pieces. I'm not going to stop the train or anything because it's just so well thought out. I just wonder if there was that thought for it.
I mean, there was many, many, many different renditions of the house. I don't know that I can go back and touch on your exact points. When we didn't have this band carrying across the center section here, it didn't feel as soft, I guess. It almost felt like like I think what you brought up was having the banding and the framed portions that have the glass inset bring some structure to it, rather than just putting these glass cubes, without some form of meaning. So, I would actually say that when we started, we had probably less structure shown than what we have now. And then as we began to, especially here, to design this and bring these balconies and everything into play, it really felt like that needed to continue across. But then this felt like, again, if you left it as just a stucco band per se, you weren't quite getting enough.
Well,
of
you
the
haven't gone all the way, right? You would have done a spandrel, either a kiss detail, which would be spectacular, while you're doing it, a kiss detail where you don't even have this line, this dark lines, and you don't have the need for that. And it just reads as continuous, especially given that you have a tint body, that there's a tint body to it, it's even easier to do.
Mm-hmm.
And then again, I didn't get into the details. In all honesty, I didn't look at the mullion detail, how it's being expressed. I worry that it's a gasket I worry that it's a gasket that you're looking at and not a metal cap and not a sort of seamless joint between the pieces. It's sort of like this wall, you've worked, really hard to have it be seamless, right? It's just a plane. It's elegant. And against the green, and it continues up to the water coming off the pool and splashing down it, and it's just very beautiful piece of landscape. And then it sort of just is like just kind of not there at the edge of this thing. In fact, in a way, what I'm saying is that this is a glass plane, as simple as that, right? Mm-hmm. Which has it's meant to frame the views. It's meant to be sort of transparent, both internal and external, tint body or whatever. And that if it's just that, right, it's just that piece. Even if you do have kiss mullions or whatever at the floor level, it's the powerful counter to the and then all this other stuff that's going on around it, because this is the punchline, this big glass wall.
Sure. But I will say, in some of the renderings and forms that we looked at, it also became very tall and overpowering.
You've done it.
Again, it's
I just think you gotta be, and the idea that those, the glass balconies, there you're reiterating that. The French balcony. They slide back the glass.
The doors themselves.
Yeah. Okay. And then it's all wire rail, is that right?
So everywhere that there's a raised terrace, and up here is the wire rails that I showed you.
Why you didn't do glass rail? I think that looks like Hollywood.
It was so there were several factors in that. One is it was just way too much.
Yep. And can you go to view 12, please?
Certainly. And if I can stop by view 11 on my way there. Nobody wanted to clean this once this grass was cut. If this was glass. So there was, that was a great point by Hollander. I all the credit goes to them.
Yeah.
So I think in the dictionary under breathtaking, this picture might be there.
Yes, I concur. It's such a special spot when you're standing there. Just truly a special spot.
I would have done with the Rockefellers. I wouldn't have faced that bridge, but that's just me. Because it's such a spectacular, forget the bridge in a way, it's that spectacular landscape that you're stepping down to the river with the train and everything. It's really beautiful.
But I can say, but I can tell you from this view, you have about 180 degrees because of the way everything steps.
Yeah.
A lot of thought was put up into the upper levels being more of a summer hangout.
You get a black bottom pool. I mean, I assume it's a black bottom or a tile or whatever it is, and that's again all about reflection and light. And I think it's when I start to see mullions come through.
So
And
where,
as far as achieving the energy, I tell you, Frit goes a long way. People
Yep.
don't, goes a long way. I really don't have any other comments. I can't argue about the split personality of, oh, can you go to 10?
certainly,
Just again. Yeah.
Is that not 10?
that was page 10.
Yeah, no, that's 10. That's 10.
I don't know if you meant view 10 or page 10.
No, view 8, page 10.
Okay. So if you guys would just direct me on what more you would like, obviously we can have Howard from Hollander Design speak to the plantings. I think we went through the fencing, we went through the renderings. There's definitely a lot of detail that Hollander's office put forth in far
Could
as
you, yeah, sure. Could you show us the pool fencing? Because I have a bad, how that's handled.
Howard.
Chuck, do you have that on your set?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, Howard, do you want to jump in?
Yeah, I could take over. Okay, I know I have a very slow connection due to a dish. I'm located in the Catskills at the moment and not the best of internet connection, so bear with me. If you cannot see the screen, please let me know.
No, I see.
Okay, this sheet here, our pool. Well, actually, let me jump back up.
Yeah, I was going to say, why don't we trace the perimeter first?
Do it on the plan.
Yeah, if we trace the perimeter.
In the planting, yeah, I'm showing you here on the planting plan. I'll zoom in a little bit. We're using the building for the most part to act as the pool perimeter and take advantage of the numerous retaining walls that we have to place around this steep slope. So if we're to start with the pool here in the center, start at this corner of the house, our fence is really just running along this line here, turning and meeting one of the retaining walls here. This fence, for the most part, is in the planted portions of this, is just going to be a simple black vinyl coated welded wire mesh, just to put it into evergreen planting and make it disappear. Our gates, however, and I know this is a little sensitive in the conversations that have happened so far, but we would like our gates. I would like our gates to be glass. And the reason for that is not so much this particular case here, but when we wrap around the pool, because we're using the trough of the pool is at 5 feet, so that meets the code. When we come to the other side of that, this particular staircase running through here is very important for transitioning over to the adjacent property, which as Chuck said, is also owned by our client. This is a major route of accessing both properties. We didn't want this particular gate to interfere with any of the views that are obviously so spectacular here. So the section from the edge of the pool trough to about 5 feet into the planting here would be glass. And then it goes into the welded wire mesh again, that's deeply buried in planting. Returning back towards the house along this line, and then it's all the stone retaining walls, which in this case, but this part of the house are, the one corner of it is about 9.5 feet, so they're more than sufficient. And that returns to the corner of the house. So our fencing is actually really just this portion here.
Howard,
here.
what?
The rest is
I have a
retaining
question.
wall.
I have a question. I'm not sure why. Help me for a second. Isn't there, there's a fence here, right? Is that a fence along here? Is that what I saw? No.
Not seeing your markup.
No, that's a guardrail fence because we do have the high retaining walls there.
I see. Got it.
Adjacent to an occupied.
Yep, that's not, no, that's not the 5 foot. I got it.
Right. That's the wire mesh that I showed you next
Yep,
to the lawn,
yep.
next to the lawn terrace.
Yep.
Yes, so that's this, that would be this type of fence. Our pool fence is really just this short panel of glass. And then the welded wire mesh adjacent to it in planting.
We have any examples of how that gate is going to be mounted?
There it is. It's right there.
Where? Okay.
Yeah, well, yes, they would be a black painted steel post, 4-inch square.
Is it laminated, or I'm just curious about the glass? It's just. Oh, and there's the wire mesh.
Usually, yes, usually the. Yeah, usually we use a laminated 2 1/4-inch panels laminated together.
Okay.
For 1/2-inch total thickness.
Okay. And anything else?
Yeah, it's spectacular.
Thank you, Deborah. It's been a great team.
I agree. This is quite the undertaking. Okay. So at this point, are we approving as it is the application is brought forward, or was there any changes?
No changes.
Okay. So I will make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? We're good to go.
All right.
Best of luck.
Thank you.
See, we were your easiest board, huh?
Yeah.
I'll tell you though, I mean, like I said, having this much time and money and everything into it, and just, it's, like Ken was saying, I mean, it's a charrette, right? I mean, everything is design. Everyone has their own eye. And to have this process come last after being so committed, it's basically the most nerve-wracking portion of the show.
Can imagine.
I thoroughly appreciate your time. I hope you guys all have a great holiday. Please stay COVID safe.
Yeah.
And Rick, take me up on my offer.
You may get a call, Chuck.
That's great.
Okay.
All the landscaping, by the way.
Yeah, I mean,
I live very close to it, and all those green lawns, draining right into the river. It's nice to see something else.
Beautiful job, Hollander.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you, gentlemen.
Okay.
Folks,
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to everybody. The
Cheers.
only housekeeping I have is just to announce that Michael has been made a permanent member or a regular member of the ARB. We had asked Randy because he was, first on the list, if he wanted to move into that slot, and he said he's, not ready now, and we appreciate that, and that's why Michael is now part of the mainstream, so to speak.
Great.
Yep. So, anybody have any business, old business, new business? Okay, folks. Thank you for your time.
Great. Thank you.
Appreciate. Yep. Take care,
Happy
guys.
New Year. Bye-bye.